And we're back with Adobe Illustrator Classroom in a Book for 2014 release. This is Chapter 11. And when you open Chapter 11 Start, you're going to end up with this dialog box for the missing fonts. If you are able to sync the fonts with Typekit, go ahead and do that. If you're on a computer at home that you don't have the ability to link to Typekit, or if you're on one of the computers in the lab and you can't work on that, all you really need to do is when you come up with an issue on the font, and their font will be highlighted in pink. And if you do that, all you need to do is to change the font to another font. So I am not going to sync the fonts because I am going to use a font that I have loaded on my system, and that would be perfectly fine for you to do as well. So I'm going to close that dialog box. One of the other ways you can rectify this is if you go to Type, and we can go to now Find Font. There it is. And Find Font is going to tell me that Franklin Gothic, which is the font that is missing in this file, is not there. And I can actually go, rather than from Document, I can select System. And here is where I can find a font that I may have that is close to what font is supposed to be on here. And I'm thinking that I may have something that might be similar, or I might just pick up a font that I really want to use. And I'm looking Franklin, I have a Franklin Gothic, so I may just go ahead and select that and say Done. And I should then change anything that is that was the other font to that one, and it shouldn't come up. If there's a difficulty or problem and I didn't get something changed, I can still go back in and make those changes. Okay, the next thing you want to do, of course, is to go up to Essentials and reset Essentials so that everything is back to what you want it to look like, where you're comfortable and you don't have anything that may be out of order. Now, we're going to we're going to make sure that you can see all of the artboard, and we're going to save this file as Jazz Festival. Again, underscore with your initials so that your file is identifiable after you turn it in. And say OK. We are going to be working with the Appearance panel. And the Appearance panel gives us all of the attributes about our piece is that we have selected. And the appearance attributes are things like fill, stroke, transparency, or any kind of effect, anything that's going to affect the look of an object, but it doesn't affect its basic structure. In other words, it's not going to be anything that's going to affect the basic framework of the structure. So up to this point, we've been changing these appearance attributes. You've been using either the swatches panel or the control panel or some other panels, but the attributes and other effects can also be found in the Appearance panel. Now, the Appearance panel is on this side, and if I click on it, there is the Appearance panel. Now, right now, I don't have anything selected. My default is set for a white fill with a black stroke, and the black stroke is 1 point. That's the default. If I select the trumpet, the main part of the trumpet, you're going to see that it has a half-point black stroke. It has a black fill. It also has a drop shadow on it, and it's using the default opacity. So I can look at what the appearance of that effect is and find out that the drop shadow has a 75% opacity and the X and Y offset are 0.05 or 5/100ths of an inch, and there's a 3/100th of an inch blur. And I'm just going to cancel out of that. So anything that you apply to a piece of art is going to show up in the appearance panel, and we can actually control the appearances from this panel. You can read page 332, and that's going to give you a complete listing of everything that you're going to find in the appearance panel, and as well as how you're going to be able to use that to make changes. So beginning now on the top of page 333, we're going to change the basic appearance of some artwork using the appearance panel. So we've got the trumpet shape selected, and we're going to also select same fill color. There it is. Notice that the content of the appearance panel doesn't change. Everything on here has been selected that we have visible right now, and the same appearance properties are listed. If you were to select multiple objects that had different fills, the appearance panel would show mixed appearance, and then we'd have to separate each piece out if we wanted to work with them individually. But in the appearance panel, click the black box in the fill attribute, and you're going to get the drop down, and now look for a swatch that's called trumpet. It's the lime green. That applied the fill. And you can click off, or you can use your escape key to hide the swatches panel. So you can change appearance attributes like the fill color in the appearance panel if you don't want to work up here, down here, or over here. Now, if we take the half point in the stroke row, the stroke weight option appears. Okay, so we can change the stroke weight to 0. Well, we're just going to have to type it in, and that's going to remove the stroke. Click the underlined word stroke, and that's going to give you the stroke panel, just like we got up top here or from over here. That shows more formatting options, just like any of the other panels. These additional options are listed as a subset under the attribute row. They can be shown or hidden by just clicking the disclosure triangle. Press your escape key and you can close that. Click the disclosure triangle to the left of fill. That's going to show the opacity option. If we click on the word opacity, you're going to get the transparency panel. You can change that up to 100%. And then again, you can either click off to the side, or you can use your escape key to hide that panel. Click the visibility column to the left of the drop shadow attribute. That turns that attribute off. You can hide an appearance so it isn't being applied. It doesn't make it go away. It's there, still there. It's just hidden. With the drop shadow role selected, click to the right of the link drop shadow if it isn't selected. Click the Delete Selected Item button at the bottom of the panel. So if we select this and we hit the trash can down here, that's going to completely get rid of it. With the trumpet shape still selected, go to Object and Group. So now you have the new group selected, ready for the next section. Did you know that with Illustrator you can have more than one stroke and fill applied to any of the designs you create? We're going to add another fill to this object using the appearance panel. Our trumpet group is still selected, and now we're going to click on the Add New Fill button at the bottom of the panel. New stroke and fill rows are added to the appearance panel. Well, for this one, it's just a new fill row, and it's applied to the group as a whole. The fill and stroke attributes that you add will be applied on top of the fill and stroke that was originally applied. We're going to change this color now. Click on the square, and we're going to go pick up the paper swatch, which is a pattern swatch. Now, we've got that selected. Click off to the side, and then if you don't see opacity underneath, make sure that you rotate that disclosure down and pick up on opacity. And we're going to not change the opacity, but we're going to change the blending mode. And we're going to take it from normal and go to multiply. In the Appearance panel, Appearance attributes with a disclosure triangle have options like opacity that affect only that particular appearance attribute. So now you can see that you have that pattern lightly applied over the top of the other fill. Before we go on and work with the text layer, you might want to save so that everything is good up to this point. It's going to take a few minutes for your file to save because it's a very large file with a lot going on in it. So I'm not going to save mine at this point. I'm just going to keep on going. We're going to turn on the text layer next. And you can see that my text, when I went to change it at the beginning, I did not do the actual change that I should have done. So at this point, I need to go in and find my type, and I'm going to go to Find Font, and I am going to take and change this to something that's a little bit different because my Franklin Gothic is a little bit too wide for what we need on this one right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just pick up a different font, and I'm going to say change all to that. Done. Okay, that works out a little bit better. Next, we're going to add another stroke to the text. So we've got the text layer turned on, and you want to select your text tool now, and you're going to select the word jazz by clicking twice on it. Now in the Appearance panel, notice that the stroke is none and the fill is black. Notice that you can't add another stroke or fill to the text because the Add New Stroke and the Add New Fill buttons are dimmed at the bottom. Select the Selection tool and notice Type at the top of the Appearance panel. And now we can add multiple fills and strokes to the text. So we're going to click the Add New Fill button at the bottom, and you get the new fill. And I don't have a new stroke because we didn't add that. With the new fill attributes, click the fill color box, and we're going to select the swatch named Jazz. This new fill will cover the existing black text, but we can do some more. So we're going to again click the new fill. We're going to put another fill on, and I'll select the bottom fill and put paper. And now it doesn't show because it's underneath. The order of the attribute rows is important. The top appearance row shows on top of the appearance attribute below it. So in the Appearance panel, fills and strokes are listed in stacking order, top to bottom. You can reorder them just by dragging layers around. So we're going to change this by reordering the appearance. So what I'm going to do next is click the disclosure triangle to the left of all the appearance rows to hide their properties. So here's the fill, and I'm going to actually let the stroke go as well. Now I want to drag the bottom fill up to replace the one on the top. And I just need to click and drag, and now I have the paper on top. Click the disclosure next to the paper fill and click on opacity, and we're going to change this to multiply. We really don't see that being applied. It just doesn't show up because of the colors that are in there, but I think we'll be doing something else with it that's going to make that a little more visible, and we'll be doing some other changes as well.